To the regular city commission meeting. This is the 28th day of July, 2025. Could I get a roll call,
Yes,
please?
Mr. Mayor, Commissioner Dollison.
Here.
Commissioner Mercer.
Here.
Commissioner Dantzler.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Yates.
Here.
And Mayor Birdsong.
Here. We will be led in the invocation by Apostle Willie Mincy of True Holiness Tabernacle and the Pledge of Allegiance by Vanessa Castillo, MMC City Clerk. Please
God, we stand and bow our heads in prayer. Kind Father, in Jesus' name, we're thankful for the day that you have given unto us. You was good to us last night, protected us from hurt, harm, and danger, woke us up early this morning, and started us on this brand new day, and we tell you thank you. Thank you, oh God, that we are here tonight for this commission meeting. Thank you for all of the commissioners and all of the citizens of Winter Haven. God, I just ask that you would be with Mayor and all of the men and women that serve. Oh God, I pray that you would protect us. For you said in your word, oh God, except you keep the city, they that watch in vain. I ask that you'd protect us, oh God, and give them, oh God, wisdom and knowledge tonight as they make decisions that will affect all of the lives of all of the people that live in this great city. Be with us tonight. Lead, guide, and protect as only you can. And we will give you glory, we'll give you honor, we'll give you praise, and tell you thank you for all things. We ask these blessings tonight. In the name of his son, Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Evening, Honorable Mayor and Commissioners. We have one presentation this evening. It's a proclamation in recognition of Florida Water Professionals Month. I believe Mr. David Nicholson with our wastewater treatment plant operations is going to accept this, and we have a number of staff from our water operations who are here in support of that. David, do you want them to join you, or do you want to have them maybe come over to the side over here if we could, so we can keep the audience with some visibility? So our proclamation reads as follows. Whereas the Florida Water and Pollution Control Operators Association, organized in 1940, is a nonprofit trade organization that promotes the sustainability of Florida's water utility industry through workforce development to protect the health of Florida's citizens and to preserve the state's water resources. And whereas this organization offers water and wastewater treatment plant operator and water distribution operator training courses required for the state of Florida's operator licenses, 8 voluntary certification programs, and continuing education programs for operator license renewal. And whereas this organization, in recognizing the importance of the Florida statutes and administrative code that regulate the water industry, acts as a liaison between the Florida Department of Environmental Protection and industry personnel. And whereas the Florida Water and Pollution Control Operators Association recognizes all who have played a significant part in operating and maintaining drinking water, wastewater, and stormwater systems in Florida by celebrating Florida Water Professionals Month, which applauds their constant efforts to protect our health and environment. And whereas water professionals are essential first responders as defined by Florida Statute 403.865B during storms and other catastrophic events, working to ensure both safe drinking water and disposal of wastewater for our communities. Now, therefore, Nathaniel J. Birdsong, Jr., Mayor of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, does hereby recognize August 2025 as Florida Water Professionals Month in the City of Winter Haven, and asks our citizens to join us in thanking these water and wastewater professionals for their dedication and hard work in providing safe drinking water and protecting Florida's environment and natural resources. In witness whereof, he is hereunto set his hand and caused the seal of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, to be affixed this 28th day of July, 2025. Signed, Nathaniel J. Birdsong, Jr., Mayor. Attest, Vanessa Castillo, City Clerk. Thank you.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, City Managers. My name is David Nicholson and I am the Wastewater Treatment Plant Manager for the city. Thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening to celebrate this tremendous group of hardworking professionals, those standing here alongside me and all the other members of the water team who could not be here this evening. From customer service to collections, distribution, construction, lift stations, water conservation, meter services, our fiscal specialist, our water and wastewater operations. These make up the Winter Haven Water Department. It truly does take a team. Water is our most vital resource. Providing safe, reliable, and clean water to the community is a responsibility which this team takes very seriously. The coming years are exciting ones for the Water Department. With your support, the bold steps we are taking will ensure safe supply of water to our residents for many years to come. On behalf of the entire Water Department, I sincerely thank the City Commission, the City Management for this recognition. We are honored to receive this proclamation and are grateful for your ongoing support of the hard-working individuals who keep Winter Haven's water flowing. I'm going to invite Tyler McCulloch, the Chief Operator of Wastewater Plant 2, and Damon Irvis, the Chief Water Operator from Fairfax, to receive this proclamation on behalf of the water professionals.
All right, two in the middle. All right, now everybody come gather. You're in a nicely single file line.
Problem.
David, over here. All right, I think I can see everyone. We lost the mayor. He's back. On the count of three. 1, 2, 3. One more. Perfect. Good job.
Okay, we have no developments of notes. Minutes of the June 23rd commission meeting. Entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
motion to approve the June 23rd, 2025 regular city commission meeting minutes.
Thank you. I close the commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to these minutes may do so at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the commission meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed by the same sign. Hearing none. The minutes are adopted. Okay, so we have two people that have signed up to address us. And they're not speaking on any item that's on the agenda. So would you please come forward? Alex Loftus, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. And you have 5 minutes.
Hi, my name is Alex Loftus. My address is 10 Lake Link Drive. And today I'm here to speak about the skate park. To start, I want to start with what I think is the neglect of the park. There's vandalism on the park. There's no surveillance. There's no police presence. And honestly, that's just turned into a crowd that honestly shouldn't be there. The other day, my little brother was at the park by himself, and there was a group of kids, and they started antagonizing him and starting to try to start a fight with him. And it ended with them throwing rocks at the truck and it just turned into an ordeal it shouldn't have. And none of this is on surveillance, and that's, in my opinion, just not right. It should be treated like every other park here in Winter Haven. And honestly, it's one of the most beautiful skate parks in the whole country. I have traveled the whole country, and there's none with a scenery like Winter Haven. On the lake, a beautiful park around it. It's maintained, but the park itself is not. You know, and with the spray paint and tagging, all that kind of stuff, that is easily stopped with a police presence, with surveillance, with lights, and kicking these kids out and trespassing them. Also, there's also no water fountain at the park. And during the summer heat like this, these kids out here that are there during the day, sweating, there's nowhere for them to get water. And it's kind of disappointing, and it's not right. I also want to talk about how there's no benches around the park where people are skating. Parents that bring kids to the skate park, they can't really watch their kids skate and keep an eye on them. You know, like in front of the bowl you can, but in the street course, there's nowhere for anybody to sit and watch. And I also believe there should be a fence around the park that would also help with some of the vandalism and the crowd at the park, keep people out that shouldn't be there, and, you know, keep some of that bad crowd out. In my opinion, that's the most important part, is the bad crowd. It keeps people out. It keeps people from traveling to Winter Haven to come to the skate park. And honestly, that's it.
Thank you. Justice Scuba. State your name and address for the record. You have 10 minutes, 5 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Jessie Skubna. I live at 10 Lake Drive. I am also here to talk about the skate park. As you know, we were big advocates to get the skate park. We do appreciate those that you are still on the commission that made that happen. But now we are at a point where, since it was built, it does seem to be kind of put on the back burner. If I could make some suggestions, I think fencing it would be the first step to making it feel safer and just safer altogether. If you go to Lakeland, I think Lakeland is a great example. In my opinion, as my son said, we have traveled all over to different skate parks, and Lakeland probably has one of the best. It's not only user-friendly, but it's also, it's great for the spectators as well. But I think it is very important for us to fence the park in. That way there's one way in and one way out. And I believe that would eliminate a lot of the bad activity that's going on. You can't even put your phone down anywhere as a skateboarder because you're worried about someone's going to come from any angle and snatch it. And I know that you're at all parks, I'm sure you deal with vandalism, and it's an ongoing problem. But I do feel that if we had some cameras, I think that would help at least catch the ones that are doing it, because it is my understanding it is the same kids doing it. And so since there's no accountability for it, they're going to just keep doing it. But if they knew the cameras were there, that would probably deter a lot of it. So I believe the fence is very important. I believe the cameras are very important. And obviously, a water fountain is very important. And I do understand that it is expensive, because I have been told from Angie and Andy that it is expensive to put a water fountain out there. However, in the last budget that we just looked at, there is a lot of money that is being credited back to developers to do their projects out of that same fund. So if you have money for that, then certainly you can put a water fountain out at this park. Lighting is another thing. We live in Florida, so it is hot. So it would be nice if the skate park was open after dark. And I'm not saying you have to keep it open late. If you choose that you want to close it at 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever your choice is, if you have a fence, you can lock it up at the time that you choose to close it. but I don't know many parks that don't have lights. Our park is the only, and I would like to remind this board that we have funded lighting out there, not once, but twice. The CRA has funded lighting out there, and that lighting went to something else. That fund went to something else, because I guess it was said that for whatever reason, they chose that they didn't want to put lighting out there. But I think that we have the park is a great asset, and I would just like to see you treat it like you treat the ski area. Because the ski area, they have a water fountain, they have bathrooms that they have the key to because they stay locked most of the time. They have cameras to catch the vandalism that's going on over there, because it's going to happen. I mean, obviously kids are going to be kids and they're going to do stupid things. But if you don't catch them, they're just going to keep doing it. So it's my recommendation that we get some shade out there, we get some more benches out there, we get cameras, and we get fencing and lighting. So I appreciate your time and consideration on this, and I hope to see some interest in it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address this commission? All right.
Oh, one more.
Oh, one more? Oh, okay. State your name.
My name is Sergio Cruz, 523 7th Street, Northeast Winter Haven. I am very proud to live in the city of Winter Haven. I'm very happy. So that's number one. The biggest problem that I see the city facing is public parking. Since the city became partners with the company 610, they have done a lot of great stuff together. That's no question about. Mr. Brad Dantzler mentioned in the last meeting, he would like to see a problem solved with parking. When Walmart comes to city of Winter Haven, who pays for the public parking for Walmart? Does the city taxpayers pay for that, or Walmart does? Who pays for the parking when you go shopping at Publix? Do we pay for the parking, or does Publix pay for it? What I'm trying to get here, why, if we are giving incentives to a company of $5,000 a piece, up to 20 max, why are we giving so much money to a company that is bringing this gigantic problem called parking? Why doesn't the city offer the choice to build their own garage, especially in the BB&T area, which is very crowded, affecting many, many businesses and people who actually live there? Why are we, the taxpayers, paying the price in a for-profit company who does not provide with any affordable living in downtown Winter Haven? Let's be clear about that. They have one of the most outrageous rental fees in the country for a square footage. If they're going to be charging those rates, that's their business. But if we're going to be dealing with public problems, with parking problems, why are we paying the price? Why can't 610 bring a solution to the problem? Bring in more business. I don't care that 610 brings more business, but they have to find a problem for the parking that they are bringing down to us. I think the city of Winter Haven should offer a land to the company 610 and lease the land and have 610 build a 5 or 6 story garage parking for as long as it covers all the parking. And I think right there's a lot more public funding that could be going for other sources. But I believe 610 is doing a good job, but it's bringing a problem called parking. And I believe that if they deal with the parking for the renters, for the people who they lease to, then everybody in general will be much happier. That's my idea. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, we have some ordinances, second reading, 02519, would you read by title only, city attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance number O-25-19, an ordinance amending Chapter 21 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Winter Haven, Florida by amending a portion of Plan Unit Development Ordinance O-22-23, providing for the administrative correction of scrivener's errors,
repealing all ordinances in conflict therewith and providing an effective date. General location, the northern portion of the parcel, generally located at the southwest corner of the intersection of Cypress Gardens Boulevard and US Highway 27. The area covered by this request is 50.94 plus or minus acres. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager. Has much changed? It's our third
There's
time.
been no changes, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, since first reading. Again, this is pertaining to a PUD amendment pertaining to PUD Ordinance 22-23. Staff continues to recommend City Commission approval of Ordinance 2519 on second and final reading. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
motion to approve ordinance 02519 on second reading and public hearing.
Thank you. I will close the commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to 02519 may do so at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing. Reopen the city commission meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposes by the same sign. Hearing none, 02519 is adopted. 02520, would you read by title only, City Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance number O-25-20, an ordinance amending Chapter 21 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Winter Haven, Florida by rezoning one parcel from mixed-use MX zoning district to commercial highway C3 zoning district, providing for the administrative correction of scrivener's errors, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date. General location, a parcel generally located 250 feet east of First Street South and north of Avenue H Southeast. The area covered by this request is 0.24 plus or minus acres. Thank you.
Thank you. Any changes, City Manager?
Mayor and Commissioners, no changes since first reading. This item was heard by the Planning Commission, who voted to recommend approval and forwarding it on to the City Commission. Staff recommends the City Commission approve Ordinance 25-20 on second and final reading. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
motion to approve ordinance 02520 on second hearing and public reading.
Thank you. I'll close the commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to 02520 may do so at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the commission meeting and the discussion. All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposes by the same sign. Hearing none. 02520 is adopted. 02524, would you read by title only, City Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance number O-25-24, an ordinance extending the corporate limits of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, so as to include therein additional territory lying contiguous and adjacent to the present boundaries of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, describing said additional territory, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for the administrative correction of scrivener's errors, and providing an effective date. General location 500 4th Street East, Juanita, in an adjacent unimproved right-of-way. The area covered by this request is 13.89 plus or minus acres. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager.
Mayor and Commissioners, again, this is a request by the City of Winter Haven, as we are the owners of this property. This was acquired back in January of 2025, so this is annexing it into the city limits. Staff recommends City Commission approve Ordinance O-25-24 on second and final reading, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Commissioners?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
motion to approve ordinance 02524 on second reading and public hearing.
Okay. Close the commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to 02524 may do so at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the city commission meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposes by the same sign. Hearing none, 02524 is adopted. 02526, would you read by title only, City Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance number O-25-26, an ordinance extending the corporate limits of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, so as to include therein additional territory lying contiguous and adjacent to the present boundaries of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, describing said additional territory, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for the administrative correction of scrivener's errors, and providing an effective date. General location, a parcel located at the southwest corner of the intersection of 8th Street Northwest / US Highway 17 and Avenue X Northwest. The area covered by this request is 0.34 plus or minus acres. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is a request by Candace Ducking and Lason Etienne to annex the parcel that is depicted on your screen. I do want to note that the annexation of this property will reduce the size of an existing enclave. Staff recommends City Commission approve ordinance 25-26 on second and final reading. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
motion to approve ordinance 02526.
All right, thank you. I'll close the commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to 02526 may do so at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the commission meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed by the same sign. Hearing none, 02526 is adopted. Commissioners, you have the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
motion to approve the consent agenda in its entirety.
thank you. I will close the commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to any item on the consent agenda may do so at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing. Open the commission meeting. Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed by the same sign. Hearing none, the consent agenda is accepted in its entirety. R 2533, would you read by title only, City Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution R-25-33, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, affirmatively accepting the conveyance of that warranty deed from Florida Can Manufacturing LLC to the City of Winter Haven, Florida, as more particularly described in the warranty deed, executed and delivered by Florida Can Manufacturing LLC to the City of Winter Haven and recorded on May 29th, 2025 in Official Records Book 13565, page 644, Public Records of Pope County, Florida, and providing for an effective date. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager.
Mayor and Commissioners, on August 14th, 2025, the Commission approved entering into an agreement for sale and purchase of real property with Florida Can Manufacturing LLC. On May 28th, 2025, the closing took place and Florida Can delivered a warranty deed. Resolution R-2533 formally accepts the real property from Florida Can Manufacturing LLC. Staff recommends the City Commission approve Resolution R-25-33 and authorize the City Manager to take any and all further actions related thereto. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
motion to approve resolution R-2533.
thank you. I will close the commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to Resolution R 2533 may do so at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the city commission meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by the same sign. Hearing none. Resolution R 2533 is adopted. R 2537, would you read by title only, City Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution R-25-37, a resolution regarding a change in the meeting date for the September 8th, 2025 City Commission meeting pursuant to Section 2-26 of the city's Code of Ordinances, providing a conflict clause and providing an effective date. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager?
Mayor and Commissioners, the Polk County Board of County Commissioners will be holding its public budget hearing on September 8th, 2025, which is also the normal scheduled meeting for the City of Winter Haven. The school board will be holding its public budget hearing on September 9th, 2025. The regular City Commission meeting scheduled for Monday, September 8th, 2025 is therefore recommended to be rescheduled to Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. Proposed resolution R-2537 is presented to the City Commission for its consideration and passage in accordance with the provisions of Section 2-26 of the city's Code of Ordinances. City Manager recommends the Commission approve Resolution R-25-37, officially rescheduling your first budget hearing to Wednesday, September 10th, 2025.
Thank you. Commissioners?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Motion to approve resolution R-2537.
Thank you. I will close the commission meeting and open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to R 2537 may do so at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the commission meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by the same sign. Hearing none. Resolution R 2527 is adopted.
Mr. Mayor, just a quick point on that. That only changes the date. The time for the start of the meeting will remain its normal time. I forgot to mention that.
All right. R 2538, would you read by title only, City Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution R-25-38, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Winter Haven, Florida, establishing its intent to reimburse certain expenditures incurred with proceeds of a future tax-exempt financing or financings, providing for severability, the administrative correction of scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager?
Mayor and Commissioners, a reimbursement resolution is a declaration of official intent by the city to reimburse itself for any capital expenditures using future tax-exempt bonds. R 2538 declares the city's commission's official intent to reimburse itself from proceeds of a future tax-exempt financing or financings for capital expenditures incurred in connection with the acquisition, expansion, design, construction, and equipping of various capital improvements. This includes, but is not limited to, the acquisition of improvements to the city's public parks, recreation facilities, and public parking facilities. This resolution does not obligate the city to issue bonds, but it provides the flexibility to do so at a later date. The estimated amount of debt to be incurred by the city for these improvements will not exceed $15 million. Staff recommends the City Commission adopt Resolution 2538, establishing the City of Winter Haven's intent to reimburse certain expenditures with proceeds from a future tax-exempt financing or financings as presented, and authorize the city manager and/or his designee to take any and all other necessary actions related thereto. Just one additional point, anytime that we consider an opportunity to do financing of any sort, we do a reimbursement resolution ahead of that, so that any costs that would be incurred associated with those projects ahead of that financing can be legally reimbursed by the proceeds from the financing.
Yes. Thank you. Commissioners?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
motion to approve Resolution R 2538.
Thank you. I will close the commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to Resolution R 2538 may do so at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the commission meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by the same sign. Hearing none, R 2538 is adopted. R 2539, would you read by title only, City Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution R-25-39, a resolution approving a local agency program agreement between the City of Winter Haven, Florida and the State of Florida Department of Transportation for the construction of roadway, sidewalk, and landscape improvements associated with the Complete Street project on 3rd Street Northwest from Avenue D Northwest to South Lake Silver Drive, and any supplemental agreements and/or amendments thereof, and authorizing the city manager to execute on behalf of the City of Winter Haven said local agency program approved herein, and any further necessary supplemental agreements and/or amendments thereto, repealing all resolutions in conflict herewith, providing for the administrative correction of scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager?
Mayor and Commissioners, FDOT awarded a $1,690,315 grant to the city for the purpose of funding a portion of the complete street enhancements along 3rd Street Northwest from Avenue D Northwest to South Lake Silver Drive. That area is depicted along with the conceptual drawing on your screen. No city match is required unless the cost of the project exceeds the FDOT funding. Once design is complete, the city will have expended $282,600 in local funds to complete the design work. Project makes significant upgrades to 3rd Street Northwest to include traffic calming and intersection improvements, enhanced pedestrian facilities, minor landscaping improvements, additional on-street parking, and roadway improvements that enhance overall drivability. To receive the funding from DOT, the city is required to enter into a LAP agreement with the district. The resolution R 2539 approves the LAP agreement and authorizes the city manager to execute it. With respect to the project, the city will be reimbursed a maximum of $1.69 million for the construction. Construction of the project must be complete by December 31st, 2028. The funding to offset costs for construction that is anticipated to exceed the FDOT contribution are requested in the fiscal year 26 Transportation Fund budget, which I presented to you last Wednesday and will review again further this evening. Staff recommends the City Commission approve Resolution R 2539, approving the LAP agreement and authorizing the city manager or designee to execute the agreement between the City of Winter Haven and FDOT for the construction of 3rd Street Northwest from Avenue D Northwest to South Lake Silver Drive, and to take any other necessary and appropriate actions related thereto. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
motion to approve Resolution R 2539.
Thank you. I will close the commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to R 2539 may do so at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the city commission meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposes by the same sign. Hearing none, R 2539 is adopted. R 2540, would you read by title only, city attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution R-25-40, a resolution approving a local agency program agreement between the city of Winter Haven, Florida and the State of Florida Department of Transportation for the construction of roadway, sidewalk, and landscape improvements associated with the Complete Street project on Roosevelt Drive from State Road 540 Cypress Gardens Boulevard to Register Road, and any supplemental agreements and/or amendments thereof, and authorizing the city manager to execute on behalf of the city of Winter Haven said local agency program agreement approved herein, and any further necessary supplemental agreements and/or amendments thereto, repealing all resolutions in conflict herewith, providing for administrative correction of scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date. Thank you.
Thank you, city manager.
Mayor and Commissioners, FDOT awarded a $926,935 grant to the city for the purpose of funding a portion of the complete street enhancements along Roosevelt Drive from State Road 540 Cypress Gardens Boulevard to Register Road. No city match is required unless the cost of the project exceeds the DOT funding. Once design is complete, the city will have expended $145,656 in local funds to complete the design. The project will make the following significant upgrades: extend the roadway to connect with Register Road to the east, improving connectivity, addition of pedestrian facilities, improved drainage, and resurfacing of the roadway to enhance drivability. R 2540 approves the LAP agreement and authorizes the city manager to execute the agreement for the project. For this project, construction must be completed by June 30th of 2029. Funding to offset costs for construction that is anticipated to exceed the FDOT contribution is included in the fiscal year 2026 Transportation Fund budget. Staff does recommend that the City Commission approve Resolution R 2540, approving the LAP agreement and authorizing the city manager designee to execute said agreement between the City of Winter Haven and the FDOT for the construction of Roosevelt Drive from Cypress Gardens Boulevard to Register Road, and to take any other necessary and appropriate actions related thereto. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
yeah, motion to approve Resolution R 2540.
Thank you. I will close the commission meeting, open the public hearing, and when wishing to speak to R 2540 may do so this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the commission meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposes by the same sign. Hearing none. Resolution R 2540 is adopted. We have no ordinances first reading. So we have two items of new business item 13A, city manager.
Mayor and Commissioners, ordinances 9856 and 1015 authorize the city's code compliance division to notify property owners of certain nuisance conditions existing on their property and to provide them with reasonable time for correction. Such conditions generally apply to vacant, abandoned, or neglected property and include overgrowth, junk, debris, and dangerous structures. Upon failure, neglect, or refusal of the owner to correct such conditions, the Code Compliance Division is authorized to abate the nuisance. In 2012, the City Commission adopted Resolution R 12-27, implementing the uniform method of collecting non-ad valorem assessments, authorizing the City Commission to collect special assessment liens through property tax bills. The city has entered into interlocal agreements with the Polk County Property Appraiser and the Polk County Tax Collector to have unpaid special assessments included on the annual tax bill sent out by November 1st of each year. As a prerequisite to applying assessments, a public hearing before the City Commission is required to allow affected property owners an opportunity to present testimony or file written objections. Notice of this hearing, which is what we're having this evening, was published in the newspaper and mailed to the affected property owners at their address as listed on the tax roll. The estimated administrative cost associated with the services provided by the property appraiser is based upon 1% of the amount levied and is expected to be $330. Similarly, the estimated cost to be paid to the tax collector is estimated at $660. That is based upon a 2% application of the amount. Staff recommends City Commission After hearing testimony and receiving any evidence or other information the City Commission deems necessary, perfect all unpaid charges for corrective action as special assessments, a precursor to later imposing unpaid special assessments as non-ad valorem special assessments on the affected property owners' tax bills. So that is what you'll do this evening, is invite anybody that wants to offer testimony or share additional information pertaining to a non-ad valorem special assessment that is to be applied to their property. They can do so this evening. A separate resolution will come back before the City Commission on or before September 15th of this year for the Commission to approve and transmit the final non-ad valorem assessment roll for collection of utilizing the uniform method of collection to the tax collector. So Tanya Ayers, our Safe Neighborhoods Director, is here. I think she provided some good insight the other evening when we went through on this agenda. So this evening is for any testimony or the offering of additional information from those who we notified regarding special assessments to be applied.
All right, thank you. Entertain a motion.
Actually, if the.
We need to open the
Yeah,
public hearing
yeah.
first.
Yes, sir.
All right. Close the
And-
commission meeting, open the public hearing.
And Mr. Mayor, just as you opened the public hearing, I'd ask Ms. Ayers if she has received any written information or any written evidence or documents that at this time would be relevant to provide to the City Commission after the notice had been sent out.
No, I have not received any written communications regarding this hearing. I have received a phone call on one of the assessments, and I have reviewed that and amended the final assessment.
So that's in,
Well, at this point, I think it would be appropriate if there's anyone in the audience that wishes to speak to the City Commission as it relates to these assessments that are proposed against your property by virtue of the conditions that existed that you've been noticed about. Now would be the time for you to come forward and provide whatever information or evidence you wish to give to the City Commission. If there are none, doesn't appear like there are any people here, then, Mr. Mayor, I would suggest that the record reflect that. Ms. Ayers has indicated there's been no written evidence or testimony offered either, and it would be now time for the City Commission, for you, Mr. Mayor, to close the public hearing and then go back into the regular City Commission meeting.
all right, I will now close the public hearing.
Now,
Now I will
you would,
entertain,
yeah, if I could make a recommendation for
Okay.
you to entertain a motion to approve the, or perfect any of the unpaid charges that have been set forth and referenced by Ms. Ayers. And as the city manager has noted, those will come back to this City Commission in the form of a final resolution, probably at your meeting on September 10th.
Mr. Mayor,
yes.
so move as the city attorney has stated.
I was wondering.
We'll work with the city clerk and make sure that motion is very clear. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Opposes by the same sign. Hearing none, the new business item 13A is adopted. New business item 13B. Is that going to be you, city manager, or?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.
I'd like to do a couple things with this evening. One, I do think it would be appropriate if the commission would allow, upon my completion of reading the fact sheet, pertinent points to just again highlight some of the information contained in your, in the proposed budget for fiscal year 26. We have reduced that down based upon what was presented the other evening, so it should go rather quickly.
All right.
As you know, each year the city is required to calculate and set an ad valorem millage rate per Florida statutes. The TRIM Act, or Truth in Millage Act, is what requires that, and the city is required to notify the Polk County property appraiser of the city's proposed millage rate for the ensuing year and provide the date and time and location for the first public hearing regarding the budget millage rate. Your action earlier to change the date of your first reading in September will be included when we transmit the information. City's public hearing day can't conflict with the school board or the BOCC, as we discussed and you acted upon. With respect to the 25-26 budget, it was constructed utilizing the millage rate of 6.59 mils, which is the current taxable or the current millage rate for the city of Winter Haven for the current fiscal year as well. The millage rate provides for a balanced budget that is fiscally responsible and aligns with the city's strategic pillars, maintains adequate reserves to address unforeseen events, and balances service demands with available resources without placing an undue burden on taxpayers. The city must notify the property appraiser of the current year's calculated rolled back rate, the proposed millage rate, and that date and time and place of the city's first public hearing by Monday, August 4th. Our intent is, pending favorable passage by the City Commission this evening, that we will actually do that tomorrow to ensure that we fully address that time requirement. City is also required to complete tax increment adjustment worksheets for the Winter Haven Downtown and Florence Villa CRAs. The rollback rate is defined as the millage rate that would produce the same amount of ad valorem revenue as was levied during the prior year, exclusive of any new construction, additions, or boundary changes. The calculated rollback rate millage rate is 6.1754. The proposed millage rate, once set, cannot be increased unless each taxpayer is mailed a revised notice of property tax, a proposed property tax. The millage rate, however, can be reduced at either public hearing, but cannot be increased. The tentative millage rate is 6.59 mils. As you know, any millage rate that exceeds the rolled back rate must be advertised as a tax increase. Proposed budget anticipates total expenditures of $250,280,102, which is a decrease of $47,382,350 over the prior year. The proposed budget reflects a projected general fund available fund balance of $25,261,367, exceeding the fund balance reserve policy target of 30% by $641,403. So I'm going to go ahead and make a recommendation, then I do want to go through some of the key points of the budget. Staff does recommend, however, the City Commission establish the fiscal year 25-26 tentative millage rate at 6.59 mils, which is the same rate that is in play today, and to set the first public hearing date on the fiscal year 25-26 budget to be Wednesday, September 10th, 2025 at 6 p.m., to be held in the John Fuller Auditorium of City Hall, located at 451 3rd Street Northwest, Winter Haven, Florida, 33881. Looking through just a couple points within the budget, and Katrina, if you can help navigate my slides for me, I would appreciate it. Your budget is built around your strategic pillars, as you know. Those have guided decisions that staff has made in trying to accomplish activities within the budget, and also based upon information that you shared as priorities during your strategic momentum session held earlier this spring. Next slide. The budget highlights, again, it's a budget of $250,280,102, which is about $46 million less than the current year's total budget, about a 15.5% reduction overall. Property taxes in Winter Haven increased by property value, taxable value increased by 12.3% over the prior year. Estimated ad valorem revenues increased by $3.4 million. The CRA for downtown has a total ad valorem proceeds of $4.23 million, and in the Florence Villa District, $1.56 million. Combined, those have an increase of just shy of $820,000 over the prior fiscal year. We continue to support and appropriate funds to address affordable housing through the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. There's a $250,000 appropriation from the general fund into that separate fund. It does contemplate continuation of the STEP plan that has been in play for the past several years with respect to our employees. It includes a market adjustment based upon a compensation study that was completed to ensure that we are well positioned for recruitment and retention of a quality workforce. The total number of positions that are included in next year's budget is 766. That includes 23 new full-time positions and 6 part-time positions. Of those 23 new full-time positions, 9 are located within the general fund. Next slide. Again, just where we fit in terms of millage across throughout the county. Winter Haven is kind of right in the middle, more so to the lower end. We've seen a lot of press over the past week reporting on property taxes around the state and what different cities and counties are doing. In fact, there was one that was shared with us today. CJ, if I'm not mistaken, was from the Orange County area and identified a number of cities in that area that are increasing their millage rates to account for the rising costs associated with salaries, particularly in public safety, as well as increasing costs for capital projects and general operations. Next slide. We continue our funding of your community partners as noted. We went over this at length the other evening. The one new service delivery partner that has been added is Keep Polk County Beautiful, and that is part of our effort to incorporate that program's Adopt a Roadway litter control initiative. We continue to fund Winter Haven Area Winter Haven Area Transit, which is a partnership with LAMTED. That is the same amount that it has been, that is this year at $293,825. So there is no increase in the cost for our mass transit services. And we continue to fund our homeless initiative with Heart for Winter Haven that targets specifically families with school-aged children who are facing homelessness or are presently homeless. We fund our community partners. Saw Ms. Calagridis was here earlier, one of our Grant and Aid Application Review Committee members. You're funding 44 agencies this year. That is up from 40 the year prior and 33 the year prior to that. There's an increase in the allocation and appropriation for Grant and Aid this year to $347,761. That is an increase of just shy of $30,000 over the year prior, and that was at the recommendation of the commission. Next slide. Looking at all of your funds combined, this is in terms of revenues. You can see the greatest source of revenue in terms of the total budget is coming into the utility fund, which is your user fees and charges, connection fees, and the like, followed by the general fund all the way down to the very bottom of your urban forestry. The total expenditures by funds, $250,280,102. You can see the largest percentage of appropriated funds goes towards capital, followed by personnel and operating. This is generally consistent with what we see over time. I will say that last year, I mentioned we have a decrease of about 15.5% in the total budget. Almost all of that, if not all of it, is because of capital expenditures. We did a significant amount of capital in fiscal year 24-25 all at one time, and so those projects are already accounted for, and there's not as much in this current year. Last year, or fiscal year 25, your capital expenditure was just over $133 million. You can see this year it's at $72 million. Next slide. Within the general fund, this is your revenues. Ad valorem revenues comprise the largest percentage of the total revenues received at $31.5 million. 40.26% of your general fund revenue comes from ad valorem. You can likewise see the additional revenue sources that we have. Transfers and contributions would be money that is transferred in from other funds, such as the utility fund, the solid waste fund, and your CRA fund that contributes back towards debt service. Again, fees and charges, state shared revenues, federal shared revenues, business tax receipts, and the like comprise the $78,367,146 funds that we have available for expenditure in the general fund. Next slide. One more, if you would. Thank you. Expenditures in the general fund. As I mentioned the other night, personnel makes up the largest percentage of this. There is some capital in the general fund, as you can see, at $4.739 million. Most of that is going to be associated with smaller projects or vehicles and large equipment, major brick sticks, building construction that applies to operations in the general fund. We house those dollars in a construction fund, and I'll expand on that momentarily. Comparatively to the current year, you can see the percentages that are shown for personnel, for operating, support of other funds, and the like. That percentage, in looking at the percentage distribution in fiscal year 25, these are almost identical. As an example, personal services in fiscal year 25 comprise 49.73% of the general fund. Here it's 49.27. The only place where we have a difference is in the grant and aid. That has gone up from 0.84% to 1.47%. One of the primary reasons for that is that we have included as a grant and aid appropriation $500,000 to be used to serve as seed money once the Hartford Winter Haven Community Development Financial Institution is up and running, and that is intended to provide loans and financial programs that support small businesses that may not otherwise be able to pursue traditional bank loans or other means. Next slide. When we look at expenditures by departments, public safety, in terms of functional departments, is the largest component of where our money goes. Those non-departmental funds at the top, those include transfers to the transportation fund and the construction fund for capital projects. It includes transfer to the supported funds. It helps fund out programs like human resources, engineering, information technologies, and facilities maintenance. It is also our debt service comes out of that. But when we look at public safety, police and fire, keeping in mind that safe neighborhoods is comprised within that police budget, public safety accounts for $34.78 million of our expenditures. Ad valorem revenues bring in $31.55 million. So there is a delta, a shortfall between ad valorem revenues and public safety of $3.23 million. If you add in the other services that are essential within the general fund, such as parks and recreation and streets, and again, in comparison to what ad valorem generates, that is a shortfall of close to $20 million. So we're able to very strategically and responsibly budget other funds, whether those are fees and charges or state shared revenues. Different revenues that come in help make up that offset. If there is a reduction in millage, then we have to look at services of where are we going to scale back, because the availability of additional revenue sources is greatly limited without creating excessive fees that diminish participation in programs in the affordability of them to the community. Next slide. Your pension plans. We had a lot of discussion about pension plans during the meeting the other evening. One thing I do want to point out that have some information I'll pass around to you just to give you a little insight, and this pertains to the general pension. I did not run this for all pensions. Jay, if you'd be so kind as to pass those down. This just gives you a little insight. Our CFO, Colleen Scott, was able to provide this to me earlier today. You'll see the bottom of the sheet you get. The market value of the general employee pension plan is $80.5 million. This year they had contributions of $682,000. They distributed about $1.6 million. Yet their return on investment was $7 million. So in spite of distributing out almost $900,000 more than they brought in through contributions, the total fund rose from $80.5 million to $86.5 million. So I just point that out, that it shows that the pension fund, it's the long game. It's the investments over a long term. It is a very sound fund that we have. And our youngest participant, despite our concerns for Mr. Carnevale's health the other night, he shared with me today, he is not the youngest member in the general pension fund. That person is about 30 years old. So the last person out the door and drawing on that general employee pension fund, we're probably 50 to 60 years before we're completely out of that business. So I just share that for informational purposes. And we'll skip through the rest of the pension funds unless you have questions there. In terms of compensation, I mentioned to you, and one thing that I would like to have some clarification in whatever motion is made this evening. I recommended that we take the 19 positions that are identified as needing market adjustments to their pay classification, be reclassified as noted here on the screen. These are 19 individual job titles that include 38 seats. These would be moved effective August 1st from the pay grade that is noted as current to the pay grade that is noted as proposed. Some employees will see a very minor adjustment in their pay. Others will see no adjustment at all because they're already within that pay classification range. The total estimated cost based upon those positions is $4,850 through the end of the year. So we'd like to make those effective August 1st so that when we get to any other day one of the fiscal year adjustments, these people are in the right slot to begin with. Compensation proposal based upon our evaluation with our outside expert revealed that the city of Winter Haven is on average about 5.5% below the local labor market and almost 9.6% below the combined local and regional labor markets, keeping in mind that the regional markets include larger cities such as Orlando, Tampa, and places like Orange and Hillsborough County. What we've recommended and what we have factored into the budget is a 5% adjustment to the base starting salary of all positions. That would take our lowest position, which is currently starting at $16 an hour, to $16.80 per hour. This addresses that 5.5% below local labor market and helps us stay competitive in recruiting frontline employees as we are constantly in a battle for those available staff with Polk County and some of the other cities around us. In doing that, we also have included a 6% adjustment for incumbent employees. It is 1% higher than what it is for the base rate, so as to prevent the issue of compression. And that is across the board. Now, I will say on these are subject to negotiations. So we are in negotiations right now with both the IAFF, which is the union and bargaining unit representing our firefighters, as well as the PBA, which is the bargaining unit representing our sworn law enforcement officers. We are early in those negotiations, so I can't say with any certainty that that's the number we land at with either of those, but that is what we have factored into the budget because we have to have a place to start from in order to achieve a balanced budget. New positions within the general fund. I mentioned there are 9 new positions. Those include 3 police officers. It also includes 4 firefighters, but those would start mid-year. And that is really more so to help us address where we have vacancies or absenteeism, Kelly days, people that are on light duty, so we can keep our operations fully at an appropriate level. I'm happy to report, I think this week, and I'll look to Chief Newbrand, I think we're swearing in 5 or 6 new firefighters, I believe Thursday or one day this week, I'm not sure. Wednesday. So that's great. You know, we're filling positions in police and fire. Knock on wood, I think we have fewer vacancies in both of those roles than we have had in the past several years because we have fought to, really make sure we are staying competitive and that, it's a good work environment. There are 2 positions recommended within Parks and Recreation for a maintenance operator and a recreation manager. The recreation manager is more of an administrative position that will help provide oversight and guidance to all of our recreational facilities and programs. In IT, there are 3 full-time positions that I reviewed the other evening that really support just the evolution of technology. It is becoming more and more complex, as is the data and the cybersecurity risks. And then we also have 2 interns that are paid within this. There are a number of other interns that we have in that operation that are unpaid positions. In the building division, as we continue to see the demand for building permit inspections, we have expanded that to include 2 building permit specialists, as well as a specialist supervisor and a CSR1 staff assistant, just to help manage the day-to-day office operations. And then a part-time library assistant to further complement the staff you approved last year that will occupy and manage the library branch facility at the new Winter Haven Recreation and Cultural Center. Water budget I'm going to present to you next Wednesday, but the positions that are included within that are the fiscal manager, the 2 utility servicers, a customer service representative. That's the folks that are answering the phone across the street and taking payments, as well as a part-time electrician, another mechanic within our fleet operations, as well as a trainer, and then 2 full-time driver collectors to complement our existing solid waste team and address the ever-expanding population that we're serving. Next slide. There are 3 reclassifications noted within the budget. One is we are eliminating our Director of Diversity and Inclusivity position and reestablishing that position as a community engagement manager focused on strengthening relationships out into the community with HOAs, nonprofits, civic organizations, faith-based organizations, really any group that's out there that we need to have some back and forth communication and help further establish, good relations within the community as we are embarking on projects or addressing issues. There is a reclassification of one of our planner positions, our senior planners, so that we will have 1 senior planner and 1 principal planner, and then a fiscal specialist to replace a customer service representative within our facility maintenance operation. Next slide. Your general fund ends up with a balance of $25,261,367 in terms of fund balance. That is $641,403 above our 30% target. This is very sound in terms of where you want to be with reserves, particularly going into a hurricane season. As we close out the fiscal year 25 books in late 25 calendar year, we will come back to the commission at some point early next year or spring with whatever the excess balance is in that above the 30%, with a recommendation to reappropriate that towards capital projects as we see costs adjust within that. We did that last year with the fire department. And Fire Station 5, we reappropriated, I believe, about $1.4 million. We have the funding for that facility in play today. However, it's my understanding that we do anticipate having some additional transportation costs associated with that new fire station. There's some roadway network right around there. MJ, is it Shell Road that leads up to it? It comes off of 21st Street down to that fire station. It's going to need some drainage. Shore Road that needs some drainage and some road work that we're going to have to factor in on that as well. Next slide. Your airport fund is doing very well. You'll see that their total expenditures this year are going to come down from about $10.3 million in fiscal year 25 to just over $4.6 million in fiscal year 26. The main driver of that is capital. So they had a lot of capital projects that were getting done in fiscal year 25. Those are obviously accounted for already, so they are not re-budgeted within the next fiscal year. Next slide. Library, the biggest takeaway within the library fund is in their other revenues. You see an increase from $796,000 up to $1.11 million. That is because we will get additional funds from the library cooperative with the addition of our new branch library and expanded services. So that's you have more facilities, you have more circulation, you have more expense. The formula takes that into account within the library cooperative. Cemetery. not much to report on cemetery other than, their total revenues you see go up about $260,000 over the current year. Their expenditures go up by about $79,000, almost $80,000 for the year ahead. They do have a couple capital projects that will impact their operations, mostly dealing with roadway improvements and some significant tree maintenance that needs to occur, and certainly can become even more of a need following a hurricane. I mentioned earlier the Capital Project Fund. This is where your major building issues or building efforts exist, particularly those that apply to the general fund. The Chain of Lakes parking project at $1.2 million. That will be split 50-50 with Polk County. We are going to establish an interlocal agreement with the TDC where they'll provide approximately $600,000. This is to provide construction of, or accomplish construction of the additional parking facilities that are on the west end of the property, closest to US 17. At the end of the day, those projects or that effort will yield an additional 358 parking spaces, 230 of which are paved, and hopefully will address the challenges we face, particularly once we get the baseball fields up and running. I mentioned Fire Station 5 at $5 million. That is located at Lake Hartridge Park. The City Hall annexation renovation, that is money that is being provided by the building division to do the renovations in that space, and then our ongoing playground replacement program. Transportation Fund, we talked about a number of these this evening, particularly 3rd Street Northwest, Roosevelt Drive, and it was on the consent agenda, but we discussed the design work for 6th Street Southwest. So these include the LAP funding that would have been appropriated by FDOT, as well as any city match dollars that go with it. Point out the TIP has $2 million for roadway resurfacing and other roadway improvement efforts that we do. It's not always mill and repave. It could be crack sealing, which we're doing right now. It could be micro paving. There's a number of tools we use for that. On quiet zones, I think I mentioned to you the other night that we are getting ready to process a purchase order for the permit to line us up to do that work, as well as the CEI services with an outside consultant to help observe and manage that project. So that is going to happen. I'm happy to say that we are going to have quiet zones along our rail corridors.
Yes.
CRAs, we talked at length about this evening. I do want to go back and share with you, when we look at the capital, if you can jump ahead one slide for me, thank you. When you look at the capital within the downtown CRA, it shows $1,107,718. Included in that amount in the downtown, there is $192,563. That is to be determined projects. That is basically money that is in that capital category that can be appropriated. Also within the Florence Villa, where you have $881,641, $100,000 of that is the same situation. My direction to staff was, without projects for which that money should be appropriated, I want them to go explore what type of incentive grant programs we can put into play that will help small businesses within the community achieve economic success, through renovation of buildings, of development of new buildings and the like. So I look forward to bringing that back to you. I think that's an area where we can do more and we need to do more. Next slide. Willowbrook remains under construction. A lot happening out there. I'm hoping that when we present a budget for fiscal year 26-27, we're going to see outstanding numbers here in terms of revenues based upon just what the quality of play and the attractiveness of that facility will be. I think we're going to be in the best position that course has ever been in once we finish the current renovations. Certainly the greens will no doubt be the best they've ever been. Solid Waste Fund is continuing to perform well. We are expanding equipment and drivers this year as we continue to grow. Staff is looking at look at doing some rerouting of, looking at what our routes are based upon how population growth has impacted existing routes. They're also looking at additional ways to address the call for pickup on solid waste, junk, and debris. We have a platform we use for that now. We're exploring a way to enhance that with some of our routing software at the same time. So good things happening within solid waste. I will say that we are also looking at a rate study for solid waste. These rates will go up by 2.5% October 1st per the ordinance. But since the county has increased tipping fees, we can shoulder that increase initially, but we're going to have to look at what our collection rates are, our fees are, as we certainly know that the county had a significant increase in tipping fees this year, and those are expected to continue to go up year over year until they hit their target.
In that arena, can we look at the furniture and all of that stuff? We used to pick it up on a regular basis. Could we look at trying to, because even though people have to call, it's not working, I think, the way we intended it.
Yeah, I think certainly we can look at that. The approach that we were able to historically do, and Commissioner Mercer was in charge of garbage at one time and remembers we used to do spring cleanups and things like that. Just as we have grown so much, it's difficult to run that route every week up and down streets looking for the debris versus having an established kind of schedule. Where are we going based upon where there's debris that's out? It's a delicate balance. On one hand, if they don't call it in, it sits curbside. On the other hand, if there's nothing out and we're driving every city street, we're putting unnecessary wear and tear on the vehicles and expending fuel and resources. I think that what Brittany Hart, our Public Works Director, and her team are looking at is really how do we enhance that service so that it is easier for residents to do that. We're working closely with Safe Neighborhoods and Tanya Ayers and the code enforcement team to not necessarily cite people when there's stuff out the side, but to educate people and to help accomplish that. But we will look very closely at it.
The other thing I would say is that we have solid waste that goes to every street every week.
I don't disagree with you.
I'm just saying, if there was a...
But we can't commingle those things. And with
No, I don't mean pick up. I mean observe. That's all.
That's exactly how we used to do it. It's just the challenge of having the resources to accomplish that. But we will continue to evaluate that and improve that system where we can. Next slide. Stormwater. Stormwater projects this year are not much different in terms of the total expenditures, a difference of about 1.3 million. Almost all of that is within capital, as they had some significant capital expenses associated with Lake Elbert's new stormwater infrastructure and also at the South Lake Howard Nature Park. In 2018, the City Commission approved an additional millage, 1 mil. So we increased the millage rate that year. The caveat being that 1 mil could only be used for capital projects. You can see in fiscal year 26 on your screen, 1 mil generates $4.433 million. That money is appropriated out to take care of your transportation improvement program, the playground replacement program. There is a $1.15 million appropriation towards improvements at the Diamondplex softball complex, and $780,782 to further close the delta on Fire Station 5. So in summary, it is a balanced budget. It's balanced based upon millage rate of 6.59 mils, which is what we are recommending the commission approve, and what we would therefore include within our trim notice and communication to the appropriate agencies, including the state. Taxable values went up significantly. The biggest chunk of that is new development. It's a lot of big projects that came online and hit the tax rolls this year that increased that taxable value. You continue to have a strong commitment towards affordable housing as well as to addressing homelessness that specifically impacts families with school-aged children. This is a very appropriate commitment to your workforce to maintain a qualified, resilient workforce that is able to respond to the service demands within the community. And it includes 766 employees, of which there are 23 new employees. So with that said, again, our recommendation is to establish the 25-26 tentative millage rate at 6.59 mils, to set the first public hearing date on the fiscal year 25-26 budget to be Wednesday, September 10th at 6 p.m. here at City Hall. And I would also ask that the City Commission give authorization for us to make those initial market adjustment positions for classification changes to the 19 positions at a cost estimated at less than $5,000. Thank you.
Entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'm going to make two separate motions, if that's all right.
Okay.
So the first motion is to approve the fiscal year 2025-2026 millage rate at 6.59 mils.
All right. I'll close the public hearing, close the commission meeting, and open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to the millage rate? Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the city commission meeting. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed is by the same sign. The millage rate is proposed.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
make a motion to approve the market-based reclassifications as presented.
All right, I'll close the commission meeting, open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to this item may do so at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing, reopen the city commission meeting in discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed by the same sign. Hearing none, the motion is adopted.
Mayor and Commissioner, again, just want to thank you for your guidance and direction. You've been very thoughtful in what you've communicated to myself and staff. And this is, I'm very happy with what you've done with the millage rate this year. Thank you.
All right.
I was just going to suggest that we probably should have also setting the first public hearing on September 10th. A motion.
Now the motion.
Mr. Mayor.
The second bullet item.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
so moved.
All right. It's been moved that we have a public hearing on September, what's the date?
September 10th.
September the 10th.
6 o'clock.
And it's 6 o'clock. In the discussion, all those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed by the same sign. Hear none. All right, it's done. All right, Commissioner Liaison reports. Commissioner Mercer.
A couple of things I attended the pension board meetings, and it looks pretty good. for
Commissioner
those.
Mercer, can you pull your microphone down, please? Thank you.
Okay. Attended the pension board meetings, and it looks pretty good for police. Their rates are coming down. They set aside that a few years ago, and so and then I attended the public safety youth leadership, and it's always amazing to attend those and see the young people involved in what we do. So, and I want to thank the police and fire departments for that program. That's a great program. So I want to say happy birthday to our city commissioner and
Manager.
city manager. I'm sorry. I was thinking about another thing, but anyway.
He couldn't
And-
handle the pressure on this.
Okay.
You're right, sir. You're right.
And I wanted to
Absolutely right.
say thank you to the water people. As you very well know, they take additional training. Plus, most of them have license, believe it or not, a state license to even operate. So, and I would like to say that they are your third emergency service, because I always call them the silent force, because they're out there doing repairs when everybody else is sleeping. Every evening after 5 o'clock, they're on duty, and all weekend they're on duty, so. And just to let them know I get to celebrate that twice, once here and once someplace else. So, and I know that the other employees have that too. They also have to be out sometimes after hours, but not as much as utilities, but they do. And thank you all for what you do, because we couldn't do it without you.
You sound like a water employee.
Like a what?
Water.
Employee.
Yes.
I was one of those too. So.
All right. That's good. That's good. I'm with you.
Solid waste. I think cemeteries, a lot of different departments.
All right. Commissioner Densler.
Not a lot to report on. I taught a financial literacy class to a bunch of youngsters for Heart for Winter Haven. They were doing their something for life.
Jobs for life.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Anyway, that was a good hour class. And a couple other minor things I just want to bring up for the good of the order. This general employee pension plan, you know, I know we talked a lot about that the other day. Just for some perspective, as I look at these numbers, just roughing it out, we spent about 1.8% of the fund balance. So in other words, if we were to take this money and go down to Commissioner Yates's bank and say, can you get us a CD? If he could get us 1.8%, we stay even. We did 9% last year. That's why our fund balance grew. And when you throw in the $682,000 worth of contributions, we really only had to earn 0.9% to stay even and grow. So if we can keep that up, this fund will never run out of money. MJ's grandkids will be able to live off of this money. So, but that's a good thing. And that's why we have a very healthy pension plan. And I think all of our employees can have confidence that they're going to get paid for the rest of their life. So, two things. First of all, the skate park. There were some comments made tonight. I saw you write notes down there. I know we'll address that, right? So,
Yes, sir. We're on it, and Scott Eilers is here from Parks and Recreation. We'll
Okay.
be inspected first thing tomorrow.
good. Thank you. And as long as we're talking about parks, I'm going to go back and revisit the dog park. Everybody loves dog parks. The one out off of Thompson Nursery Road. If we could plant some grass out there instead of mulch, I think the dogs would appreciate it more and it might get used more. And shade too. I mean, dogs' feet are just like people's feet. We don't like to walk on mulch or where it's hot. So let's try to figure out maybe a way to get some grass out there. I think we get some more use from that dog park. And lastly, but not least, the song Sammy Hagar keeps coming to my mind. I can't drive 55. Is there anybody in this room that's turned 55 tonight? Happy birthday, T.
Double nickel.
Double nickels. Happy birthday.
I shared with somebody earlier today that as you get older, you find that you don't want to drive 55. Slower's better.
Anyway, happy birthday.
Thank you, sir.
Many more. That's it.
Commissioner Dollison.
Well, I think a lot has been said that I perhaps would have shared, but I do want to express our appreciation to the staff for the outstanding work that they do every day. And like you said, those unsung heroes and sheroes that we oftentimes do not acknowledge, but they're doing a phenomenal job, and we certainly appreciate all their efforts. And again, on the budget, great job to our city manager on his birthday. I commend you for coming here, being here tonight and working.
I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, sir.
And, but pray that you will have many, many more birthdays. God bless you. Again, thank you so much. And again, about the skate park, and I know that that has been kind of a big concern, and I know for safety and other issues as well. I haven't spent a lot of time down there. I'm not of that era. I did skate back in the day. That's when they had metal wheels on the skateboards then, and so it's a different day. But I will plan to go down there to actually see it and kind of, I've been down there a couple times, but I'm looking forward to coming down again and seeing what's going on there and kind of monitoring that. So it's just good to ride around and see it. That's all I have.
All right. Mayor Pro Tem.
Just a couple of things. So attended the Winter Haven Airport Advisory Committee meeting. Things are going well out there. I would just take a moment to commend Chair Bruce Lyons of that committee who's in the audience tonight. That committee has come a long, long way from, where it was 10, 15 years ago. It's well run, it's well engaged, and a lot of good conversation out there. So appreciate Chair Lyons for agreeing to chair that. Also wish happy birthday to the city manager as well. And I'll comment on the skate park as well, having a teenager who has come and gone through that skateboard phase, thankfully, I hope. Yeah, I mean, I dropped him off there several times where I was like, there's not a great crowd around here. And I even called the non-emergency number one time. I was like, these people look suspect. I don't envy you at all on what you have. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a public space. We took out the benches, the pavilion there to put some different type of apparatuses or equipment there for them to skate on, because benches attract people who like to sleep there. And so I don't know how you overcome some of these things. I guess you can put a fence around it, but to me, that loses part of the beautification and appeal of that whole park to begin with. So just look forward to hearing what staff brings back on that. And it's definitely going to be a challenge for sure, but we got some great minds to get at it. So with that, I will give my apologies as I'll miss the next commission meeting. Had a planned trip that's been in the place for about 18 months now, so heading out of town for a little bit, but that's it for the rest of the year. So Lord willing, I'll be at all commission meetings after that. So.
All right.
That's all I got.
Thank you. Well, I'll have to say, city manager, we have something in common. Double nickels. You 55? I've been married 55 years. So,
I wasn't sure where that was going.
I just had to get that out there. Yes. All right. With the skate park, we thought we had taken care of the problem, but there is still a problem that exists with the skate with that area, and it has to do with still the homeless population. I mean, that's just for whatever reason. Still, it's happening. I've gotten calls. We talked about T. That's just a little bit north of there, the skate park.
One of the residential areas.
So I don't know. Commissioner Dantzler on the pension board. This is probably one of the best years that we've had since we closed the plan. I don't know that for a fact, but there may have been some better years, but I can't recall where we are this good. But there have been some previous years, going back when we put money in, when interest rates were 13% return on the money. But Commissioner Dantzler, you know that's been a long time ago. But so this has been very good. So I attended the pension board meeting, and there was something that was presented that I talked to MJ about at the pension board, a concept of protection, basically against, I don't like the word bad investments, but I really didn't get the gist of it. MJ, could you just speak to that for just a minute?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So speaking, it's like a liability protection. So if there's a portion of money that is invested into something that then, let's say it's a a product that has a part that goes bad and there's like class action lawsuits over it, that kind of thing, the city could be, or the pension could be a part of that class action lawsuit to recover some of their losses, essentially. But there are law firms that will go out and do that work, looking for those opportunities, act on your behalf for a percentage of the return, but there's no upfront cost to work with them.
That's what I couldn't understand. It was no upfront
Contingency.
cost.
Based on getting something. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no upfront cost, which is really amazing to me. I also chair the Finance Committee for the Central Florida Region Planning Council in Bartow. And the Public Safety Youth Council graduation was really, really nice. I really enjoy those. And finally, I'm free. I've completed my Florence Villa CDC leadership program. And so I'm happy. In fact, my wife is off. She's actually in Ghana, Africa. So I'm good to go. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commission, just a couple items tonight. I had received a resolution from the attorney, Jamie Cole. You may remember him. He's with the Weiss Sirota Law Firm that handled our Form 6, Form 1 litigation.
Yes.
And they're very good credentialed attorneys that maintain statewide offices. And they are initiating or trying to initiate a lawsuit that is, they're seeking participation that would relate to a challenge to Senate Bill 180. And they would initiate a challenge on behalf of those cities that would like to participate, which they, of course, soliciting the city of Winter Haven among many, given the fact that this commission signed a letter asking the governor to veto that legislation. The gist of their arguments or their legal bases is that they would argue that the law, as it was enacted, is unconstitutional based on its analysis under the Florida Constitution, not the federal Constitution. So this would be a state law action, likely filed up in Leon County Circuit Court. And it would allege, among many other things, that this law had more than one subject matter, that the title was not correct, that it unduly abridges the home rule authority of the cities, that it violates some other constitutional requirements. And so they are looking for participation by cities. And they are asking for a $10,000 investment. And then they would ask for an additional $5,000 if it was appropriate for a district court of appeal matter if it went that far, and then another $5,000 if it went to the Florida Supreme Court. They would, similar to what they did with the Form 6, Form 1 litigation, they would likely seek an injunctive relief. They would seek to hold that law unconstitutional and other similar type of state law relief that, and it appears that that's a reasonably good claim. I mean, obviously you can't give any guarantees, but that was something that was presented to the city. It's presented to other cities as well. I think that other cities that we represent are likely going to participate in that for various reasons. City of Lake Alfred has indicated through its manager that it's going to recommend they consider it at their meeting on August 4th. What I would like to discuss or get just a consensus from the commission tonight is whether you have an interest in that. If so, I would prepare an appropriate resolution. There was a form that was sent to us. I forwarded that to the city manager. We briefly discussed it. I would prepare that to bring back to the commission at your, maybe at August 11th meeting for formal action. What I think, Mr. Cole, I had a conversation with him this afternoon, and they're looking to file probably in early September. So, and of course, similar, they could add additional plaintiffs if for those who desire to join later, but they're looking for that, kind of commitment now from the various cities. They indicated to me that, or Mr. Cole had indicated they've talked about 20 to 23 different municipalities, not including the ones that we represent that have shown an interest. There's no one formally entertained anything yet, but I did want to present that to you tonight to see if you all had any interest. And if you do, then working with the city manager, we'll prepare an appropriate resolution for your, formal consideration, likely at your meeting on August 11th, if you have any interest in that.
I have a
Just need
question.
From each member, maybe we can say if we're, I know I am,
Yeah, just a consensus.
a consensus.
I just have a question. There's a myriad of different things in there. Is
Oh, yeah.
it for everything or is it just for?
Well, they're going to focus on Section 18 and Section 28, and that's part of the basis of the challenge is that it violates the single subject matter rule
Okay.
found in the Florida Constitution that laws are supposed to govern only a single subject matter. And because this is couched in terms of emergency preparedness, but it deals with all sorts of things that are tangential and that go off in different directions.
Yeah.
That's one of the bases, and they would be largely looking at the two sections I just noted to you that really basically take away any home rule authority that local governments have in terms of enacting zoning, land development regulations, comprehensive plan amendments, or development processes or moratoria, that are based on maybe water, potable water, things that in an area. It's interesting if you look at the map of Florida, and this statute does two things. It is retroactive to August 1st of 2024. So any laws you've adopted that are unduly restrictive or burdensome, which are not defined, one of the other grounds for their challenge, they're basically void ab initio from August 1st of 24 forward until October 1st of 2027. And if you have a hurricane, this from here on out, and it comes within 100 miles of any of our jurisdictions, and we've mapped it, and I'm telling you, there isn't hardly anywhere in Florida that a hurricane could hit unless it went over to the Panhandle that it isn't going to impact the city of Winter Haven or Polk County, for that matter. That it further extends the prohibition. So it really is a two-pronged. It's tough. Now, in terms of the political agendas, I'm certainly not going to speak to that. That's this would be a legal challenge. We'll see what comes of it. But I put it out there for you. I think it's something that we should give serious consideration to. I think the Weiss Serota firm has demonstrated in the past. They have challenged other laws in the past, the Growth Management Act in 2009. If nothing else, this gets it before the courts, and maybe it gets the legislature when they meet in early January to fix it or to do carve-outs like they did the previous year. But I don't know what
I'd
the
be
legislature's
interested
likely
because
to
I
do.
think we need the home rule. We don't want everything run from Tallahassee, so.
I mean, that's one of the things that would be argued is that it basically hollows out.
You
Any
can't
kind
run
of-
planning and zoning
Yeah,
from up
right.
there.
So you're good?
Well, I don't know yet. Mr. Cole has talked about 20 to 23, but they need at least 10 to make it, worthwhile for them to move forward with filing any litigation. So they're trying to cultivate that, like similar to what they did with the Form 1, Form 6.
How many participated in that?
Oh, gosh, there was quite a lot. And you may recall on that one, there were individual elected officials also participated. That's not the same for this. This would just be cities. But there were quite a number, lots. I mean, 30 maybe, that or more that participated. So I just bring it to your attention. It is something that we did discuss at our conference as well last week, and I think it's something to give consideration to. Any other?
It's the first I've heard of it, and I'm not willing to support it or go against it at this point. I've been sitting here for 3 hours. I need some more information. I'm not ready to say yes or no.
Understand. I'm not asking you to. I'm just asking, is it something you wish to look at further?
I mean, I'd like to get more information on it because I said, I don't join these lawsuits willy-nilly. This is just a big deal for us as a commission to do. It's noticed by people in Tallahassee what we do. So I just want to make sure we're clear that what we're getting into. That's all. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I just need more information.
And if you're okay with that, we'll prepare more information if the commission would like for us to do that.
I don't have any issues at this time.
Commissioner Dawson.
Pardon?
How do you feel?
I don't have any concerns. I would like to have a little more information as well, because it's just coming up. So that would be helpful.
Very good.
And Commissioner Dantzler has already said, and I'm fine with it. In fact, I would be ready to to vote on it tonight.
No, I don't.
I know.
And in deference to Commissioner Dancer, I feel exactly the same way he does. I'd like to know more about it, and certainly you would like to know more about it. But it is something that I wanted to put on your radar.
Never should have been.
And then happy birthday to T. Michael Stavros,
Never should have
once again. 55 is a good age. I remember it well. To
It's
the
so
extent
long
I can
ago, I
remember.
don't remember, John.
Pardon
It's
me?
been so long ago, I don't remember.
Okay, well, yes, you do. But anyway, thank you. That's all I have.
City manager.
Y'all keep saying 55, I feel old. No offense to those that are beyond that, but no, just one thing, actually two things this evening. First, I want to take an opportunity to invite to the podium Deputy Police Chief Greg Gorick. I think I spoke with all of you. I think I left a message for Commissioner Dancer. I don't know if we ever connected over the weekend, but Mr. Gorick started with us on Thursday of last week as our Deputy Police Chief, following an interview process that occurred several weeks back, and was sworn in officially Friday after qualifying, doing all the things that they have to do to be a law enforcement officer with sidearms and the like. So I just wanted to take an opportunity to introduce Mr. Gorick. He has a very long and storied career with the Polk County Sheriff's Office, certainly very familiar with the leadership of Chief Monroe, and most recently served as the Chief of Police in the city of Haines City. So we are glad to welcome him aboard and offer you a moment to say anything you like, Mr. Gorick.
Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Commissioners, I do appreciate the opportunity to work here in the city. You have a great reputation. I'm very honored to come here and work with the community as well as the other city employees. And as the city manager, again, happy birthday. Mentioned, I have a past experience working with Chief Monroe. We are a good team. And I feel that we can do nothing but propel the city police department and other areas that we touch further forward. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm very excited. So thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Chief. The only other thing I just want to remind the commissioners that with growing older, I need to take a little time off. So I'm going to be out of the office, as I've shared with you, beginning tomorrow until Saturday. Deputy City Manager, who I know you're very concerned about his health from recent discussions, will be standing in and have full command of the organization in my complete absence. So thank you very much for all the wishes. Thank you.
Deputy City Manager,
Nothing this evening, sir. Thanks.
City Clerk,
I just want to wish T. Michael a happy birthday. And that's all I have.
emergency matters not received for the agenda. Motion to adjourn.